their grievance from this perspective, that over 20,000 is going to the north, and then less than that going to the south. And so many of them say this is a glaring coup against the southern part of the country.
Yeah, again, you see, that's part of it. It's easy to conflate figures and say, okay, you are creating. Don't forget that the 30,000 polling units that are being created is in addition to an existing almost 120,000, precisely 119,973 polling units that we have in existence. And the 119,973 polling units is already shared among states, irrespective of the voter population. And when you disaggregate the voter population of each state based on 500 people per polling unit, you will see the balance for each state. And we did that. That's what we did in the table. Now, people who conflate the figure to say you gave X amount to a region, and number one, INEC did not share on the basis of region. The data that we made public, you'll never see the issue of region.
But on the need.
It was based on the state, the need per state. And then we have now done a further analysis. We said, look, it is easy to say you gave X amount to a region or not. Why don't you take the holistic figure? Say you have 150,000 polling units. And we have made a table public in that regard. And the table is revealing. People can do it. If they want to do the calculation themselves, they can do it. If you take a state like Zamfara, for instance, Zamfara has 1,802,301 people registered on the register. Now that constitutes 2.6% of the register. Under the 150,000 polling unit regime, Zamfara will have 3,670 polling units. That constitutes 2.5% of the 150,000. It is 2.6% of the voter register, but in the polling unit it constitutes 2.5%. Take a place like Anambra, for instance. Anambra has 1,784,536 polling people registered in the register. That is 2.5% of the total in the register of the total number of registered voters. Now, Anambra will be getting 4,729 polling units under the 150,000 regime. That constitutes 3.2% of the 150,000. When you begin to disaggregate it that way, you see a clearer picture. Because it's easy for somebody to say, you gave to this region 2.5 to 3.2%. It's actually on the positive side. And you can check that across the states, and you will see that even the FCT, a lot of noise has made about FCT. FCT has 892,628 voters registered. That is 1.2 of the register. Under the 150,000 polling units, FCT will be getting 1,762 polling units. That's 1.2. So the argument from you gave X to this region is, number one, it ignores the total picture, and it does not interrogate enough the issue of the distribution. Because I've had the debate also about, okay, why did you choose 15% for equality and 85% for need factor? Why not 50-50? The reason is 1585 is because of this. Because at the end of the day, that is the formula that gives this kind of equity I'm talking about.
Well, for the purpose of clarity, let's highlight some of the questions bothering on the minds of many people. One of which is, it said, how can INEC justify the Northwest and FCT put together that they have more of the additional polling units than the entire southern zone?
Yes, there's nothing to justify. That agitation simply stems from looking at the partial picture, like I said. You know, it ignores the pattern that you already have in existence. In the table we gave, we also listed the number of existing PUs. That's why we gave the number of existing PUs, so that you can see for each state, and if you like, conflate it.
For the FCT, what's the existing one?
For the FCT, you have 562 polling units.
Existing.
And you have 892,628 people. So if you divide 526, if you divide this 892,000 by 500, the ideal that you should have is 1,902. Right now, it's not even getting up to 1,902, because, like I said, you have to recognize the political nature of it and give 15% on equity basis. So it's not getting up to that 1,902. It's getting 1,762. So that agitation ignores the total picture that is involved in this, and that's why we keep drawing attention to that. Those who have been gracious enough to even attempt a statistical analysis, we urge them, go the whole hog, do a holistic analysis and see how it stands.
All right, hold on with that thought. So we're still with the Chief Press Secretary to the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mr. Kayode Idowu. We'll be back with more questions and answers concerning the additional polling units. Please join us again.